Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Hopefully this thing picks it up. It looks like it's working. We just spent the last 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, trying to get this thing figured out. So hopefully all goes as planned, and it saves the file, and we don't get an hour and a half of recording and nothing to show for it. Holy smokes. Finally, we got some new equipment. We've been recording a podcast, or trying to record, the last couple of weeks using my cell phone. And anybody that listens to podcasts knows the audio quality is all you're looking for when you're trying to listen to something. And using a cell phone
Not cool.
is far from ideal. So we went in on some mics. We got a 4-person mic set up. We're kind of looking to do this for the long run, I think. We're not really sure what the whole purpose of the podcast is going to be yet, but I think we're just going to go week by week, and if we kind of find something to really roll with, we'll take that and run.
See where it goes.
Yeah. I think to start out, we'll probably talk on like kind of about our interest as far as like Jason's into his vinyls, like he's trying to grow a little business with your cousin, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to get into that. Just started a website and Instagram account doing that, and then on the side is selling vinyls. Flipping those, buying and selling.
Yeah.
We'll talk about real estate, kind of getting into that, and I got some news on that too. I'm pretty excited to talk about that. We got small business stuff. We have a couple other buddies that want to come on and talk about what they're doing or what their goals are. Everyone's going to be pretty young. We've got maybe 1 or 2 guys that are a little older. One of them we're extremely excited to listen to. He has a ton of knowledge about pretty much anything and everything that we are interested in. So that'll be really exciting. But
just
today,
get people on here and hear what they're excited about. If they're excited about it, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, heck yeah. If you like, that's our biggest thing right now. That I think we've kind of noticed out of each other in the last year or two is just the enthusiasm we have, like when somebody else has got something going, and you're just excited to see like what they're gonna do with it or what they want to do with it.
Yeah.
I guess an example like of that for me is hearing about Jason doing his vinyl, and then one of our other buddies, Kyle, he just moved out to his grandparents' farm, and he's looking to start cash cropping. Another one of our buddies is kind of transitioning from generations of farming into doing some more trucking. That'll be cool to hear from him. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Everyone's in their low to mid-20s now and kind of really just starting life, I'd say. So it's going to be cool to see what people do in the next couple of years. And I guess the podcast right now is a way to document that and see where everybody goes.
It's kind of cool because everybody started out of high school. Well, we've all known each other since like middle school.
For years.
And you kind of see them transition out of high school, and they're all, this is what I'm going to do. And none of us have really followed any of it, you know?
Yeah, everyone went, majority of people went to school, whether it was going to trade schools or a 4-year degree. And it's kind of common, I'd say, not to graduate and go into what you actually, like what your degree's for. And I really only know a couple people that are currently working and using that degree as for that line of work. I know a lot of people that went to the trades, me included, that I went to school for 4 years. It just, I wouldn't say it wasn't for me, but I guess it really wasn't. I don't know. My mom wanted me to go, so I went, finished it off, and now I'm more looking down the line of starting my own type of business, and I think that'd be something I'm a lot more passionate about than what I went to school for.
Yeah, that's the big thing right there.
And all right. I can cut cut it out from there. All right, you said something about, damn it.
Taking that home with you every day, you know what I mean?
So passion is like trying to find your passion for anybody is extremely difficult to do. I would say that right now, most of us in our 20s are trying to figure out what the heck we want to do the rest of our life, because most of us know we don't want to go to work for somebody else every single day and just dread getting up, going to work for somebody else. But we also know that it is going to take years and years of doing that currently, or trying to find our own grind and to work on that, so that we can eventually get to the point where we find what we really love, so we don't have to do that. We do know that you have to put the work in early and now, and it might take years, but I'd rather be doing that for 10 years and be 10 years ahead, and then instead of going 10 years and then finally realizing, oh, this isn't what I want to do. And I think we're seeing a lot of our friends kind of figure that out right now, and they're figuring it out early. And a lot of us don't have kids, most of us don't have student debt or anything like that. Just getting into houses, like personal homes. So there's not too much as far as like expenses or weight on anybody's shoulders, and I think that's currently good right now, because people are kind of seeing what they like without having that pressure of having just to go to work to pay for bills. Yeah. And that's awesome, seeing that in our friend group, that people are being good with their money and not just getting stupid and putting themselves in bad situations, so they're locked down for the next 20, 30 years doing something they hate.
Yeah. Plus, when you're working, I don't know, you can put 8 hours into a job that you hate, and it feels like misery. Feels horrible. But then when you could put 16 hours plus into something that you're passionate about, and it is work. Like, it's not easy, but it doesn't feel like work.
It is, in my opinion, it is so easy to spend a whole Saturday doing something that you personally like to do, whether...
Well, it's just like what you do...
Yeah, that's what I mean, like...
all summer.
And so in the summertime, me and some of my friends and my dad would do a concrete business. I do it at work. I've done it throughout high school and college. Like, that's how I learned how to do it. And then the last couple of years, I finally went out and have started doing it by myself on the side. I could go to work all week, an 8-hour day, like Jay said, feels like it takes forever. You can, like, even when you're busy, there's just something in my head that's like, where is this getting me? So I have to remind myself, like, I'm really only working. I mean, I'm gaining some experience in the trades, but I'm really only working for that paycheck, so I can take that and put it towards my future of something else. So an example of that would just be like the business. If I decide that I want to take this business and run with it, I'm just working my 40-hour week for another person to fund that business. So anyways, getting back to the 8 hours to the 16 hours, I could work a whole Saturday from 5:30 in the morning till 6, 7 at night, maybe even later sometimes. And it's just fun. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't
stress. You know you're there for you.
Yeah, like it gives me a little bit of stress, but it like drives you.
Yeah.
Being up late at night, just knowing, like, it could be 9 o'clock when we're pulling the freaking trailer home, and you and your buddies are just, times we'll just be jamming out at 8 o'clock at night after we just got done with a huge job or whatever. And it's a Saturday, you just worked the whole day, but it feels like you were just hanging out with friends and like having a good freaking day all day. It just doesn't seem like work. And I want to find something like that.
And
every day.
Concrete's not even really your passion.
No, that's what I mean. But it just feels so good that you're doing something for yourself at that time. Like, you're not working for somebody else. Like, you're working for yourself. You're like, I get a lot out of like being able to like pay you guys to help, because it's like you're like, they're helping you as friends, but you're also like, I'm trying to pay it back to you guys, one, for helping, but just so you guys can take that and like run and do other stuff with it. Like Kyle hasn't spent $1 from Mercury on living expenses. Every dollar he spent has been from working all summer with me on like Saturdays.
Yeah.
So it's like that's awesome because he's literally saving up his whole salary at Merc just from doing stuff on the side. Like, yeah, he's got to spend another 15 hours a week, but that's 40 hours, like 40 to 50 hours a week going right into his pocket. Like most people are struggling. Actually, I heard today, 76% of Americans live check to check. So think like the stress that comes along with that, and then being able to not to worry about that. Like that's one thing I want. Like that's what I want, and that's why, like, grinding on that like little business or like that side income is huge to me. Because if we can do that for 10 years now, 15 years, like not having to then rely on another job, but then all of a sudden that becomes passive because you grew it to a business that's running itself. So I guess trying to find something that we're passionate about would be another level. Like, and that's what we're all looking for right now, is just to find something that we really love and want to run with, and we want to figure it out now before we're 40 and have 5 kids and you're worried about literally going to work just to feed the kids. Anyways, enough of that rant. Jesus.
Yeah.
Got in on that one. All right. Tyson fight. You said you got something to say about it. What are your thoughts?
I didn't really like it. Like, I liked the fight, but the whole like Thriller put it on, and I think this might have been their first like
event or major event, and it was quite a large event.
Yeah, and I don't think they did a good job personally. When we watched McGregor and Mayweather, I feel like you could feel like the historical aspect of the sport.
What the event was going to be right there.
And granted, with this, there's no crowd. It's different because of the whole COVID.
Yep.
But with the music and like the musical guests that they were doing, and like the announcers, I didn't think were that great.
It made it
and
seem like it was a large event, but it didn't feel like it was a large event. Like
they kept, why is Snoop Dogg out there? Like, he knows nothing about boxing. Like, he had nothing, like, as like a sport, like watching Tyson's movement.
Yeah.
That he had nothing to say really about it besides like,
he made it more comical than historical.
Yeah.
You know, like they had, like I guess like I said, they made it like this big entertainment thing, but it didn't feel like it had any meaning at all.
Right.
It was more, it just felt, I guess it was an expedition match, but I don't think it should have been that.
Still, you're looking at Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Like, these are 2 huge names.
2 of the greatest fighters, like boxers ever.
Yeah. That'd be like taking Ali and George Foreman when they were in their 50s, pulling them, and then just like throwing them out there. And you know what I mean? Like,
and the terrible broadcast, like a terrible broadcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't entertaining. None of the fights really were entertaining. Jake Paul knocked
Nate Robinson
out. That was the most, like, we're lucky that happened, because otherwise that would have been terrible. There was 15 of us just sitting together watching this fight, and I think 10 of us were sleeping on the floor. Like, it just wasn't entertaining. The other night when we watched the UFC fights, there was no big names, but it was still they still kept it interesting. I don't know if it's because of the experience of the UFC just putting on fights where they, and like,
I think that's
the broadcasting and all
that.
It did just look amateur, the whole thing, and it sucks that it was like that, because this is a huge historical moment for boxing and for these 2 individuals in general, and it just kind of sucked. I think,
and participation.
Come on, every single person had a medal. Like, and what are we teaching people?
Yeah, and then at the end,
hey, you tried. Nice job. Here, you got knocked the fuck out. Here's a medal.
Here's a medal.
I would be pissed.
You just lost.
A medal. Oh.
Like, that should be very, like, if you're Nate Robinson, you should be wanting to sit in your basement for the next
week or two and just
at least
sit one,
like just out of embarrassment.
Just sit there, realize what the heck you were boxing. You weren't playing no defense. You got your ass handed to you, like to talk crap and then go in there and I don't.
You
got to reflect on that.
You need that embarrassment,
and that's what I mean. You got to reflect on that.
Or there's you're not growing if you're not going through those kind of pains.
Do you know if he wants to continue?
I don't know.
I don't know if he wants to either. I know Jake won. He called up McGregor. What the hell is that? Like, good.
He's not thinking.
Good
there.
joke.
Even in boxing, I think I don't know.
I mean, he did all right, but he didn't really look like a boxer. Not that either of us are boxers, but I mean, you can tell when somebody's got the experience. And
didn't they give it a draw? I don't know.
Oh, that was terrible.
I was like, nothing against Roy Jones, and I might be a little bit biased because I was rooting for Tyson. Yeah. But his movement was better. He initiated the whole fight. I mean, he did
somewhere. Roy was playing a lot of defense,
especially at the end of the last 2 rounds. Yeah, he was running.
He was tired. He was staying away from staying on the outside, using the reach. But
and then at the end, Tyson says he's okay with the draw, and Roy Jones is like, "No, that's bullshit." I'm like, "What? You'd rather lose because if it's not a draw, you lost, bro." Like,
yeah, I think he knew. He knew he lost. He's like, yeah, they're right. When he hits you, it hurts. And every time he got hit, he was feeling that.
And this morning, I'm like, as for Tyson, how can he be okay with a draw? Like, if I was him, I'd be like, I won that fight. There's no, like, how do you give that a draw?
He's doing it for the people.
Yeah. But then
he said he's a humanitarian now.
I sat back and I'm like, well, this is, I don't know if it is the first fight, but for him, I think it's more about going the distance. Like, that's how he got knocked out them 2 times. Was it twice he got knocked out?
He did say, he's like, I'm known for knocking people out. But to him, it was an accomplishment because he went the distance. And that, I don't think he's ever gone a full.
But, he was always so used to 2-3 rounds and they're knocked out. So then people started taking him the distance and he started getting his ass whooped. And now he's like, I initiated that whole fight, win, lose, or draw. I don't care. Like, I know that I just brought this new aspect to my game at 54.
And now he wants to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be awesome, too.
I mean, his movement, dude, was insane.
He was putting those other guys to shame. Like, I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, watch how these guys are moving. The 3 fights before Tyson fought, I was just like, watch their movement. Some of the guys, they're good, bobbing and weaving, like they could slip the punches pretty well, but you could kind of see it coming. When Tyson was doing it, he's just so ducking fast and weaving so fast, and he's 20 years older than these people. It was just insane watching him. He still has it. It didn't seem like I couldn't imagine watching him. Like, I've watched a ton of his videos, but I couldn't imagine watching him when he was 20 years old doing it, how fast it probably was, and especially on the older cameras. But still, he was a step ahead the whole time, it looked like.
I think Roy honestly only caught him 1 or 2 times the whole fight.
He got him with the hook. Mike's like, yeah, it hurt. But
out of that whole thing,
1 or 2 times in a whole fight,
he could barely touch him.
Yeah. He got him a couple times with the jab, but that ain't doing nothing to Mike.
He says he wants to keep going, but who's he going to fight? Is he going to fight someone that's 20 years old?
Kill him, probably.
I don't know. Will he?
I don't know.
I don't know if... I mean, he's really good still, but is he professional level to someone in their prime?
Yeah.
That's the question. And I can't, like...
I don't know enough about
it to be like... I don't know enough about boxing. I can look at what Tyson can do and like, that's
the
crazy.
Technique behind it, and people like planning for a fight for months or whatever, and then to be able to kind of take that and carry it over. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where he goes, though. I do want to see him fight again. I think it would be. I want to see him fight on a card, like not expedition matches, like a big event where there's like a championship fight or something, and he was on the card. That would be cool to watch. Because then I think, and when there's people there, I think if there were people there, his ego would have flared up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he would have been.
I just like how afterwards, too, Tyson standing there smiling, like moving around, like, I'm ready to keep going.
Yeah,
and
he was talking smack a little bit at one point.
Roy was sitting there just like, give me a shower and get me to bed, like I'm just beat.
Can of corn, I'll be fine. He looked pretty dead after the 5th round. The 5th round was when he was head down, just in the corner, breathing pretty heavy.
I think my biggest takeaway from the fight was, in the beginning, the pre-fight interview, and Mike's talking about how he lost 100 pounds, and he's talking about what he did, and then he's like, I don't know, I guess I'm just comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I looked right at you, and I'm like, that's exactly what we've been talking about. And then I looked at like everyone else, and then everyone else was commenting on it like, dude, that's just crazy, man. Like, this dude's insane. He doesn't, like, what is he even thinking? Like, putting himself through this. And it's just like, dude, if you want to be the best at whatever you want to do, like, you got to be able to do exactly what people don't want to do.
What the average person isn't doing.
Like, you're going to be looked at like you're insane. Like, if you're Jimi Hendrix playing guitar, like, if you probably knew how much he practiced to get that good, you'd be like, that's retarded. Like, why are you wasting all this time? But if you want to be that good, you got to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations.
Every day, too.
Literally, every day. There's no time off. There's nothing.
And it's, the biggest thing is when you don't want to do it, and you go do it.
Yeah.
So that kind of transitions, I guess, into like us lately, just trying to get up and do a morning workout just before you go to work. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's some days where you wake up, like, I'm really feeling it. Like, I could go work out right now. You go work out. But 9 out of 10 times,
you don't want to.
You do not want to do it. It sucks. Like, you're waking up 4 in the morning, 3:45, 4:30, whatever it is. It's hours before most people. Most people aren't out of bed. Maybe 6:30, 7, and that's because they got to get the kids up to go to school. You're waking up hours before somebody else. And that's just mentally, I like that edge, but it still sucks when you're doing it. It takes me probably 15 minutes to, I just have to get up right away, go upstairs, breakfast, whatever I got to do. Actually, lately what I've been doing is like visualization. So each morning when I get up, I put my phone across the room so I can't hit the snooze button. So one of my things is I don't want to hit the snooze button. So I don't hit the snooze button. I get up, go upstairs. Obviously, you got to take a piss in the morning. So I take a piss or whatever. But right away, pack my lunch. And the next thing I do is grab my coffee. I've been doing instant coffee lately. Actually, the Folger stuff isn't too bad.
Like a Keurig type
deal?
deal?
So I do that, and then I just take probably 2 minutes. And I just sit in the kitchen, close my eyes, and I just sip it. And I think of where I want to be in 10 years. Sometimes it's like, where do I want to be next year?
Yeah.
What do I want to get done this week? What's going to help me get further to where I want to be next year?
You're just building that
and then
law
I just kind of sit
attraction.
there and I take another sip, and I just like think of smelling the coffee. It's just like the relaxing part.
Yeah.
Because I hate getting up in the morning. Like, I'm usually pretty grumpy, and I just sit there and I'm like, where am I going to be in 5 years? 10 years? And I just get it in my head, and then I kind of go back through what steps do I have to do to get there. And then I think it just comes down to daily habits, like getting up every morning and just having that discipline to get up is huge, because that carries over into later in the day. Oh, I don't want to do this. You just do it. You got up at 4 in the morning. You're just building that block in your head of the discipline. That's what it is. It's not even about maybe getting more stuff done. It's just building that in your head, that the discipline of it. And then you do get more stuff done. So that carries over too. So you're getting up earlier, you're a lot more productive, and you're building that muscle of being more disciplined every single day into everything that you do. So then that carries over to work.
Yeah.
You don't want to do something, or you could take a shortcut, but you're like, you just kind of build that muscle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it. It's going to take me longer, but I'm going to do it this way. And then over time, it just keeps carrying over to everything you do. And then I think you become known for somebody that's sticking to the word, because when you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah. You're callousing your mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Freaking A.
That's how I started, was at work. I'd be doing something like the worst thing possible. I'd be in some hospital demoing out 100-year-old ductwork that's all full of dead skin, and like it just sucks. Like it's hot, sweaty. I'm like, this sucks. But then I'm like, well, at least I'm not outside running. Like, well, that get me through it.
Hardest part of your day in the morning. Everything after that.
But now that I started running in the morning, I wake up and like cardio is probably like the most dreadful thing I could think of doing. Well, once I get that out of the way first thing in the morning, there's not like, I'm at work and it could be like the worst thing that I could think of doing at work, but I'm like, well, I already did the worst thing I could possibly think of, so this is like a walk in the park. Like, I already did something worse than this. Like, I already proved to myself, or I've proven to myself that I can push through this at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, this is
do
nothing.
What you hate to do, but you know is going to give you good results.
Yeah.
And not only physically, but that mental edge there. Oh, heck yeah. I'm excited to see you just start running marathons or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I can, like...
First day. How'd the first day go?
How'd
the first day go?
First day, I puked. Didn't even run 1 full mile, and I puked. I ran like 3/4 of it,
but
and
you know what?
Stopped, and I puked.
You went the next day, didn't you?
I didn't go the very next day. I went the day after it. The very next day, my legs felt like they were about to fall off. I went the next day. I did the next day.
I'm at the point where I know that I want to get up and get my workout in, or at least get some cardio done in the morning before I go to work. Except I'm like, oh, I'll do it 3 times this week. Well, if I get the 3 times in, I'm like, oh, cool, like I got it.
I'm done.
I feel good about it. But now I'm like, should I feel good about it if I know I could do it more? I could do it every day, but I haven't been doing it every day. And now I'm thinking, do I have to, like, is it time to be like, quit being a bitch?
Yeah.
You have to do this every day. It's just going to callous your mind that much more and give you that much more discipline. But I'm like,
You stop at them 3 days, and then all of a sudden them calluses start softening up a little bit.
Because I know if I only have to get 3 days in, when Wednesday rolls around, and I already got 2 of them in, I'll just sit there and, maybe I'll sleep in today. But then I regret it when I get up and go do something. I'm like, I could have been up. Even if I don't go to the gym, I could have been up 45 minutes earlier, and I could have worked on something else. I could have read 10 pages, 20 pages.
Yeah.
And then you do that every day. By the end of a month, 2 months, you read a book or 2. And you do that for a whole year, you might be at 10 or 12 books. Just because you got up a little earlier. But then how much more knowledge did you gain from it?
I can't believe how, like, just reading makes you just feel better. Like, mentally.
Dude, having a mental edge. It's wild because it seems like you're being arrogant. Like, I feel like I'm arrogant about it. But it's like, you're the one putting the work in.
Yeah.
To feel that way. To get a different perspective towards things. It's like, are other people doing that?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like, I don't think so. It's not very common. I don't hear a lot of other people do. Not that I talk to. I've never heard.
I don't I don't know. I think you need that level of arrogance in your head because, like,
To have the
knowing
mental
you,
edge on somebody.
like knowing you, like the arrogance doesn't come out towards other people.
Yeah.
Like, but
it's
I
in
feel
the
like,
work that you do.
Yeah.
I think that's how I feel like I'll take that edge and put it into other things instead of, and just know in my head when I'm doing those other things that it's not because I'm better than somebody else, but it's just the feeling of putting the work in.
Yeah.
It's a weird struggle, I guess, like mentally, but then again, why the hell should I care what other people are thinking towards like what you're doing?
Yeah. Are they actually mad at you because you're being arrogant, or are they mad at themselves because
they know
they're watching you do the work
and they're
not
being lazy
complain about it? Yeah.
They're complaining that something at work didn't go well, or I started my morning out late, or this happened to me, and it's like, what if you would have got up an hour earlier?
Yeah.
Or I don't have time to do this, or look at you doing that and that. I think it's that.
I think they look at you, and the easy way out is, well, he's just arrogant.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm being fucking lazy.
Or he's being selfish or something like that. But I think, dude, you got to be a little bit selfish to get shit done.
Well, yeah.
Or sometimes you got to put friends and stuff on the back burner to go do other things that are going to progress you. And I think a lot of people don't do that. And I also can say that I've been struggling with that in the last couple of years is, I want to hang out with everybody and do this, or you're trying to keep your
like social image up.
Yeah, you're trying to keep that image up. But I'm also right now kind of like, you know what? Fuck that. Like, why is it? That ain't gonna matter. Like right now, it matters. Like this whole summer, I think I maybe had 3 weekends off the whole summer. We worked every single Saturday and Sunday.
So now you feel like you want to make up for it.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta hang out with people. But like, it's like, no, I think this last year it's kind of just transitioned to the point where it's like, I don't give a fuck if you're like, where you been? Like, no, because in 10 years when I'm 20 years ahead of people that just wanted to go out and hang out or just sit around. And I won't give a shit then.
Plus, you're gonna I feel like you're gonna narrow down your inner circle of people, and it's all gonna be people with the same mindset and the same type of goals.
And a small circle's all right to have.
Yeah.
This kind of goes into, so 2 years ago, senior year of college, right before graduation, about this time, so when we would have graduated in May or whatever, I wrote down to have 2 properties. Like, I wanted to get into real estate, and that's what I want to build for passive income, at least for some of it. It's been, I wrote down by May of 2021 to have 2 properties. And now it is November 29th, and by the end of the week, we'll have 2.
You'll have 2.
Yep, invested in 2 of them. I won't fully own the second one, but I'm investing into another guy with cash, and then I'll be part of it. So that'll have 2 of them. And then obviously me and Anna bought that house.
That same guy you were talking to this summer?
Gary?
I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, so I started talking to him, I think last winter, about like what I wanted to do. And
Beek's uncle or whatever?
Oh, no, different one.
Oh, a different one?
Different one. So that's going to be another person I'm going to talk to. So the reason this deal, so the house that me and Anna bought, that's a whole different thing. That's going to be, we got a good deal on it, but we got to put, that's just us. Like, we're going to live in there, fix it up, and then eventually take the equity out of it, put that into another property. Probably, I want to do multiple. We can, with the equity that we're really going to get when we buy the thing, we could use as a down payment for 2 properties right away. But I want to run one of them first and kind of get through the process of all of it, and then go from there. But this one, I'm literally just investing the cash and then just get the return. So I put up some of the capital to help him, and he's going in, he's fixing all of it. I don't got to put my hands on it. I just have to put the money up front.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm doing that is I know that he wants to get into real estate. He's got other investors working with him, and I'm getting my foot in the door with him and just with
In
other
general.
investors, and then in general. So I'm kind of learning the investing side of it with just putting up capital on this deal, but then with the house me and Anna have, I'm learning the hands-on aspect of it. But that's with my own money, not other people's money.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of gaining two different sides of the whole plan here. So that on the next one, it'll be my money, also the renovations, and then the next one, I'll be able to take capital from other people and give them a return on their investment. So that would be Jeff, talking to him, well, you were there when
Yeah.
he wants to give me capital and he just wants the return. He wants a return from it. So eventually that's what I would like to do, use other people's money. Because then you're infinite, dude. You just, all you got to do is find investors and you can go and get all these properties, get the equity out, like get your return every year. That's when it's going to get big.
So then, like with this deal that you did, how do you? I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Yeah,
on
I'll
here,
go
but
right into it. I'll give you
how do you-
numbers, whatever.
No, but like, how do you like legally back yourself so that he doesn't turn around and stab you?
It'll be done in paperwork and stuff with the realtor, whatever.
Like,
so,
like you're this percent.
Yeah. So he has investors that want a 12% return in the next 6 months.
Okay.
I want a 10% return in the next 3 months. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to get in paper. He said 4 months maybe. I'm going to talk him down to 3. I want it in 3 months. Because if I can do that, if you do that multiple times a year, you're looking at 40% on the year. Just
So if you give him, I'll just throw out 10 grand, and
that's what it is.
And he's got to give you 10% every 3 months.
For the 3 months, and then we're going to do another deal. Then we're going to get another property. Because this property is going to be flipped wants it in 2 months. Wants to flip it in 2 months. But by the end of 3 months, I get my money back no matter what. Like that's how it is in paperwork. I get it back. If he doesn't sell it,
there is paperwork behind that.
Yeah.
Like there's ways to do that.
Yep. If he doesn't sell it, then he'll have to take the equity out of it and pay us that way. So my hands aren't dirty on any like the contract, nothing like that. It's just my money going to him. He has to give it back.
And he's legally obligated.
Yep.
No, like even if he's like, well, we came up with these kind of hiccups, like it's not 3 months ain't gonna work, and you're gonna be like, you signed the contract,
you'll have to
dude.
find a way to get, yep. So I'm like, it's great.
Yeah.
My hands aren't getting dirty.
Unless it does go south. And,
but that's a risk you got to take, like that with
Yeah.
anything. You ain't gonna make money just leaving it sit in the bank account.
Right.
So
you're losing money.
So I'm
if
like,
you let it sit in the bank.
I don't need this money, and not in the next 3 months. So it's like I'm gonna get a 10% return. That's much more than it's making in my savings account right now. I already have other money allocated to the stock market and stuff. I'm not gonna put all that money into there because I want it diversified.
Yeah.
So what better way than to open up another frickin' roadway to, 1, an investment, and 2, other people and the real estate market in general.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that one. All right, we're having a little bit of troubles recording. We're gonna have to figure out a way to maybe use a different platform, and hopefully the mics keep picking up.
It's the first time with the mics. So.
Yep, first time with this whole setup. It's kind of a struggle, but it's definitely going to be a lot better in quality than what we have been. Kind of just feels like a whole different purpose. Instead of recording to my phone and talking to my phone, we actually sit down and have a conversation with each other, and it feels like we're talking to more people. You just get some feedback?
Yeah.
Something?
No. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Literally, as we were just saying, we're struggling with this. We just started getting some bad feedback in our headphones, and it's annoying as hell because you can hear the static. We did a couple test clips. It doesn't seem like it's transferring over, but I know as soon as we start getting into this recording again, it's going to start transferring over. So if that does happen, we apologize, and hopefully by the next recording,
we'll have it figured out.
We'll have everything figured out, and we won't have to deal with this full crap. I think we need to use a different recording platform, so we'll try to download one of them and mess around with that. And then maybe we just got to take everything apart and put it back together, and it'll work. Anyways, we were talking about the real estate deal. I just got done kind of wrapping that up, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember where we were. We just wasted about an hour.
Yeah.
Well, not really wasted, but
we're learning. We're learning. We got to get past this curve, and then things should kick off. Oh, I know I got talking about visualizing. That's what, like,
yeah,
visualizing what you want. Like, so I spend a couple minutes in the morning doing that, but I think that's something everybody should do daily. It's just, even if you do it, right when you wake up, take a couple minutes, or if it's easier for you, you could do it at lunchtime. You could do it before you go to bed. But I think it's huge to have an idea in your head of where you want to be next week, next year, 5 years later,
10 years later.
Yeah, and to have goals. Like, you absolutely have to write stuff down. If you want to do something, write it down. I know personally, if I don't write things down, I'll forget about it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your life and drawing a plan out for what you want in life, you have to write that down. Like, get a plan. Your life ain't gonna go how you wrote it down, but at least you have an idea of the stuff that you want and where you want to be. Otherwise, you're kind of just, if you're not visualizing what you want or have it written down, you're literally just freeballing throughout life. Some people might like that, but to have a greater purpose and to feel that purpose, I feel like you have to, 1, have it written down, 2, think about it daily, and 3, I think share that with people. I think when you share it with people, it just drives it that much more into your head, and you learn if that's something that you really want to do, or if you don't and you want to change things up and go a different route. So that's my visualization idea.
Yeah, you're building that law of attraction.
Yeah, I got that written down too, and it attracts one. Like I wrote down, my example would be like writing that down, that I wanted to do 2 real estate deals by May of 2021.
Yeah.
We're at 2 right now. Hopefully I run into more by the time May comes around. But the law of talking about the law of attraction, and it just kind of not only, so like writing things down, 1, you know what you want, you know where you want to be. So if you write your goal down, you might run into people, events, or like opportunities that you would maybe not say yes to or associate with, but because you have that idea in your head, you kind of the things, I guess, attract. I don't know how to explain that. So an example would be I wrote down that goal that I wanted to have the 2 properties. Then I start researching things, and I'm looking online, and then all of a sudden I'm not looking for it, but then this book comes across my way. Oh, how to run 10 rental properties. Well, I'm probably going to pick that book up. because I know like it just was something that caught my eye. Well, then all of a sudden I run into Gary, and he wants to start doing real estate deals. Well, then I start building the relationship with him. Well, then Gary leads you to 10 other people.
Yeah.
Well, now you're introduced to 10 other people. You know, like those things are coming to you because you know that you have like what your purpose is and why you'd want to talk to those people. If you didn't want to do the real estate deals, why the hell would you care to talk to Gary or read that book or to talk to other people that are in that area of work? It's just, I don't know, like what would you use it for, or how do you see it? That's how I see it.
Like writing down your goals.
Yeah, and then you run into different things that help get to that goal, and then create more goals off of it.
Yeah. So I see it as when you write it down, you're physically seeing that every day. It's not getting put on the back burner where you can think, well, someday you put it in your head. 2 years, I'm going to have 2 rental properties. You can put that in your head, but like as life comes at you, that thought is going to get put on the back burner. Where if you write it down and you're reading that every day, no matter what,
bringing awareness to it.
Yeah, you're constantly thinking about it. It's not getting put on the back burner, where now you're constantly visualizing what you're writing down. Like your goals, you're constantly in that state of mind of visualization of this is where I'm going to be, it's going to happen, and you're changing that mindset where when you're just saying in 2 years I'm going to have this. And well, that's good, but if you like, it's good to have that, but if you're not constantly going from,
you're not locked on that vision.
Yeah.
So when you're locked on the vision of what you want, it attracts other, like, it's not so much that, well, actually, I'd say people are attracted to that. They see that. And then when you're giving them the ideas and a complete plan of what you want, you might run into somebody who's going to bring somebody else into your life that, hey, meet Jay. He wants to do this or that. It just kind of snowballs, and you build relationships with people. You learn new things. You're looking to learn new things because of just having that one goal, like having something on paper, looking at it every day, and just you got to go after it. Like you said, you can't put it.
You got to keep it fresh in your mind.
You can't put it on the back burner. It's never going to happen. And when it's written there, and you view it as like a daily thing, and you actually look at it with meaning, I think that brings a whole new value to it because you're setting yourself up to complete it.
When you're constantly visualizing your goals, you write it down. Every day you're thinking about it, visualizing it. That vision becomes so clear in your mind that it's without a doubt that it's going to happen. Like it becomes so factual that
it's like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
If any of you haven't, Conor McGregor does a podcast with Tony Robbins.
It's Tony Robbins' podcast,
yep.
But McGregor's one episode of it.
If you don't know who Tony Robbins is, start YouTubing. You got a lot to catch up on. He provides a ton of value and insight on not even growing a business, but just as becoming a better person in general. But anyways, he talks to Conor. I think Conor talks basically the whole time. I think Tony only has to ask a couple questions. Conor just goes on a straight rant of how he envisioned his whole life from like 10 years old or something. He said maybe even before that.
Well, he talks about obviously as a kid, his dream was to become a professional soccer player. And he said it became so clear to him that he was going to make it that he would kick the soccer ball against a side of a building, and he would envision himself that was the winning goal, and he said he'd run around with his hands up. And I think as a kid you do that a lot. Like I remember doing stuff like that as a kid, but he said he never lost that
imagination, visualization.
He said, and then he was a plumber, and he didn't like it, And at the time, he was still training in MMA, but he said it. So he started envisioning himself in the UFC, and it just became so clear to him. Like, it was without a doubt he's gonna be the champion. And he talked about it basically since he got into the UFC.
He's done it every day.
Yeah.
And now he's doing it for his whiskey.
Proper 12.
Yep. He's doing it for that company. He's got a clothing line that he's doing it.
August McGregor.
That's how he does everything. And he's just one example of an extremely driven and successful person. I mean, some of the most successful people do it. Probably almost all of them.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, why not at least take the chance? Like, it's not going to hurt you to do that. Nobody knows what's going on in your head. Like, take a couple minutes every day. That's all it takes. And just as a well-being in general, I think it just gives you a clear purpose as to what the heck you want to do with your life. I don't know. I don't like the idea of just running through life, having no idea of what you want to do, or just going day by day and saying, what the hell? Like, some people say, oh, fuck it. Like, new day, blah, blah, blah. I get the idea of new day, but you still got to have a goal of where the hell you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't think you amount to much after that. Like, you might be happy, have a nice family, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think there's more to it than that. If you can get to a certain point where I think if you're financially free, where you don't have to worry about paying bills and all that, you can dedicate your time so much more to helping other people and just giving so much more back to all kinds of different people. I guess it depends on, like, the purpose of your work or whatever. Like, even if it's like a craft that you're doing, you're still giving value to other people by the craft. If you're building tables and you're good at doing woodwork, you're still providing and helping other people. Like,
you're just being more positive about basically everything.
I think it opens up a lot more opportunities when you got your mind right.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for other people to be your acquaintance or business partner or a friend, whatever it may be, work with you. It's a lot easier for them, and it's a lot easier for you when you got your head on right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. If you haven't listened to Tony Robbins, definitely give that a shot. Him and Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. I listen to Jordan a lot.
I like Jordan Peterson just because I went to school for psychology, and I just had a major interest in that. And now, like, he's a clinical psychologist, so when he talks, it just, like, wraps me in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap. He just has so much to say. Sometimes you got to listen to him a couple times, the same video, otherwise you don't catch.
Yeah.
He's a lot of big words for me.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me when I first started listening to him on Joe Rogan's podcast, and half of it would go over my head, but you'd still get a few good,
like
that would,
every time there's always something
that resonates with you. And then every time I go back, there's more and more, and
that's why I like the HWMF podcast. If you guys are into podcasts or like blue collar work ethic type stuff, HWMF podcast. Seth and Bob.
Start at episode 1.
Start at 1. You got to get through at least 10 of them, I think.
Yeah.
Before you kind of build the bond, and it just feels like you're talking to your buddies and just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Helps you get through the workday, that's for sure. Nothing they don't take too much serious. You'll hear Seth say that a lot.
But when they do,
when they do get serious, I'd say every podcast there's at least one bit that you'll take something from. Somehow they will connect with you, and that's been awesome to see. Their company's growing, and that podcast is blowing up. And it's really cool to see two guys doing that, because I think they do provide a lot of value for a lot of the everyday blue collar workers, I guess. Man, this feedback is really getting annoying though.
I hope
it comes and goes.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it'll cut out to nothing, and then it comes
like,
back.
Oh, dude, it sounds good. I hope it doesn't.
You can't hear it.
Yeah, because
we'll get it figured out before the next one.
Oh man. Well,
What else?
Sunday we got work tomorrow. I got this, but I think I might save that. Just talks about what capitalism is, and then doing yourself as a business.
Yeah.
I guess we could. I could read some of it. All right, a little snippet for you on.
Explain what it is.
Yep. So, follow a guy on Instagram, Joseph, and I have to check what his Instagram page is. But anyways, he wrote a book.
You can put a link or something.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
He wrote a book called The 24 Things That Helped Me Achieve $1 Million Net Worth by Age 30. And he starts the introduction out as to what capitalism is. So he gives a brief definition of, well, right out of the dictionary actually, of what capitalism is. But then it kind of transitions into how to view yourself as an individual as a business. So whether you are an employee or you are self-employed, you are in the business of you. What I mean by that is that you are a business. If you have a job and work for somebody else, are you not in the business of selling your services to your boss? Does he not pay you for your time? Do you not pay taxes on your income just like a business does? It's very important that you start looking at your life in this way. You don't work for somebody else. You ultimately work for you. An employee is nothing more than a contractor doing work for somebody else at an agreed upon price, your salary or your minimum wage or hourly wage. That sounds a lot like a business to me. So if you are your own business, who is the chief executive officer? You are. You are the CEO of your life. You call the shots. You decide whether to take a job or to leave a job. You decide what financial decisions you make. You decide what your expenses are going to be. You decide what your investments will be. You are 100% in charge. So,
I like that.
I think there's a lot to take out of that, especially right at the end. Like, you call the shots.
Yeah.
Nobody else calls the shots for you. It doesn't matter. Like, I think I run into people all the time. Some friends, and I like to see this mindset change in them, playing the victim card.
Yes.
Oh, well, my boss did this, or, well, I just can't get this because I grew up in a home like this.
Yeah.
Eventually, it comes to the time where you got to pull your fucking pants up. You make the decisions what you do. Yeah, you might have came from, Bill Gates said it. I believe it was Bill Gates. You can be born poor, but if you die poor, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Especially if you're living in the United States, the most class mobility anywhere in the world. That means if you're born poor, you have a better chance to become rich than anywhere else in the world. So stop playing that victim card. You got to put your head down. If you're only working 40 hours a week and you're bitching that you don't have money to pay for stuff, you better start working 60 hours a week. Start working 80 hours a week. Get another job. We've got one person we went to school with. He's got a house. Got that brand new vehicle that he had to have. But yet struggles to pay for groceries and make a payment on the house. He's working 40 hours a week. Doesn't want to work more than that. Sometimes doesn't even have to work 40 hours a week. But won't work more than that.
Yeah.
Why? You don't want to be seen working as a pizza delivery boy or working the night shift somewhere, bounce at a bar, bartend on a weekend. Sometimes you got to give up that time, give up your weekend, give up your nights, whatever you have to do. If you can't pay for stuff and you're struggling to survive or be where you want to be, cut out the expenses you don't need. Stop going out to eat. Like, you call the shots. Like, you can start working more to get that money. Stop spending it on stupid shit. If you got to spend it on your house to live, yeah, you need somewhere to live, but do you need a $60,000 truck? Do you need a brand new smartphone every 2 years?
Yeah.
Do you need a brand new rifle or shotgun? $1,000 gun? You might want it, but if you're struggling to put fucking food on your table, I don't think buying a rifle is probably the best idea.
I like that because you can look at it like, if you're yourself a business, you can run it however you want. And it's really going to be your choices that are the outcome. So whether you want to run your life to be a Fortune 500 company or some
mom and pop shop struggling to make it.
Running it out of your garage. Like,
and
how do you want to do it? It's up to you.
If you want to become that Fortune 500 company, you better start putting in the time to learn new skills, provide more value to other people so you're worth more. If you want to be the traditional mom and pop shop, they're not going out to expand. They're not trying to expand. They're just happy to make ends meet. To me, I hate that idea, but some people are okay with that. And I'm okay if you're okay with being happy there. I just personally can't see myself being happy as just being okay.
Right.
I every day just want something else, like something more. Like, I like learning new things. I like having new skills. I like being able to feel like you can provide value to other people instead of just barely making it. People are like people are meant to grow, like to get rewarded from things like that. Like, that's what we look for, rewards. If you didn't have that dopamine release of accomplishment or feel good, what would be the purpose?
Yeah. I had to pull this stat up. The myth that they bring out is that millionaires mainly inherited their money.
Oh, the
and
excuse of
Stanley's book, The Millionaire Next Door, says the surprising secrets of America's wealth, only 20% of millionaires inherited their riches. The other 80% are what you call, I don't even know how to say that word. But so it basically means they're first generation millionaires.
And that kind of goes on to playing the victim card. Like, you'll see people, they got money from this person.
So
that's why they're successful. That's why they did this.
Only 20% of the America's millionaires inherited money.
People use it.
The other 80%, dude, that's crazy.
People use that as an excuse because they're afraid to go try something new.
Well, that's
they don't want to put in the work. You don't want to put in the fucking work to get somewhere, and they just want to use an excuse that somebody was born into it, or they only got that because this person gave them money. Like you just said, it ain't true. Like, it's so sad when people pull that freaking card. Like, I wish I was rich, or I wish I had this.
Or it must be nice.
Yeah,
I hate that.
It must be nice.
It must be nice. It's like, yeah, dude, it is fucking nice.
Yeah.
Why don't you put the fucking work in so that it will be nice?
Nobody saw the years of you literally sitting at home grinding shit out or working 60 hours fucking more a week than your traditional 40 hours a week, working on the weekends. Like, I'm excited. I've just, in the last year, just putting in them extra hours and being able to, like, put money towards 2 houses now. Like, it's going to be insane to see what 10 years does of just working that extra, like grinding and trying to find out what we want to do, because it's just it compounds. Like, you keep putting work in, put the work in. We might go years where it's just like, I'm maybe seeing a reward. Then I'm losing, but all of a sudden you hit that fucking breakthrough, and
I think
everything can change so fast. And then somebody's gonna say, "Must be nice," but nobody's gonna see the work that you literally put in, the struggles for years to get there.
Yeah, that makes me so mad. I get that. Like, personally, like, I don't have much, but I still, like, get, it must be nice, like, especially, like, guys at work, like, in another, literally, like, 8 months, I'll be a journeyman. So, like, wage-wise, I'm above a lot of people already at 24. And I got guys that are, like, 22 that are, like, technically under me. They don't, like, have the experience, or, like, so they come to me with questions. And then, like, I try to, like, get them, like, excited to, like, work, because nobody wants a Debbie Downer about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get them, oh, it must be nice, like almost a journeyman. Like, I'm like, yeah, dude, it was nice.
It also sucked ass the
Yeah.
last 5 years. Like,
The things that I'm telling you to do that you're sticking your nose up at, I did for like 2 years straight, and you're sticking your nose up at me
yeah.
to do it one fucking time. Like, yeah, it is fucking nice to be here right now, but I also had to do all that shit. And like getting on some of these kids that are like right out of high school that are giving me this, that like, it's like, yeah, dude, it is fucking nice. Why don't you get on the like bandwagon and just do it, dude?
And by no means is that supposed to be arrogant or anything.
No.
It's literally like,
But it's just so frustrating
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're like, oh, it must be nice. It's like, yeah, dude, it is. It's just like trying to change their mindset, and it comes out as like an arrogant, but it's really not, because
No.
it's more like I want, like,
you're trying to find,
I'm trying to help you
Yeah,
with this. Like,
provide value to them.
Yeah.
But you know that it sucks.
yeah,
But you're also trying to show them, like, having the mindset of like you have to go through the trenches to get to that next step. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to do the dog shit work for years.
I can't hold your hand through the trenches,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
that's what everybody wants, is they
Oh.
want you to hold their hand while they're digging through the trenches. It's like, no, dude, you got to figure this out for yourself.
See if they
like,
want it. See if they like want to get to that level.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think a lot of people do. I think they honestly just they don't want to put the work in, and then they just use the excuses that it's that other person got lucky that they are where they are. It's
Yeah.
like they can't accept the fact that they didn't want to put the work in. It's wild now because like I tell people like at work like what I want to do with like the real estate or anything.
They
like
look
that.
at you with like,
Oh
you
yeah,
have
they
four
look.
eyes on your
They
head.
look at you like, oh yeah, like big hopes and dreams. It's like, yeah, I do have big hopes and dreams, but I also put the fucking work
Yeah.
in now to get there. Like I know it's gonna take years, but I'm gonna look back at it and be like, haha, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
look what happens when you actually stick to your plan.
yeah. That's it right there. I think everybody kind of has hopes and dreams,
And they die.
but they die because it gets put on the back burner.
Yep.
Where you start writing shit down, you start visualizing it, you start grinding, you start putting the work in to actually accomplish your goals. And I just don't think people do that, and then they become Debbie Downers.
But
Like,
you-
well, it
they-
didn't happen for me, so it ain't gonna happen for
Yeah,
you. Like,
I didn't do it, or my buddy didn't do
Yeah.
it, or this guy didn't do it, and he was really smart, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but a lot of people quit. Like, you're gonna run into stuff in life. I've been told this since I was a little. My dad told me that all the time. Like, you're gonna run into problems. Like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people just roll over. They just stop. It's like you only have one. I'm talking to my brother about it. You only have one shot.
yeah.
This is your life. You don't start over. You either quit, you just give up on the shit that you want, and struggle every day, or you fucking go after it. You're gonna run it. You're still gonna run into struggles, but at least you're trying to get to where you want to be, and you're not just, oh well, oh it must be nice. Like,
Well, I think the struggles, and when you fail, that's probably the best thing
you
for
can
you.
use that as growth, though.
Because that's when you're gonna learn. You're not gonna learn if you go. That's why these get rich quick schemes don't
Oh.
work. They don't work. It's anybody that's telling you, I made it. I made millions very quickly. It's like, no, you didn't. That's bullshit. Because if you're not failing, if you're not, I guess right there, if you're not failing, you're not learning, and if you're not learning, you're not growing. So it's theoretically impossible to get rich quick. It's impossible. It's just,
You might find something where you run into a quick chunk of change,
yeah.
but
That's why
unless
most,
you develop yourself as a person,
yeah,
that money ain't gonna be long-term happiness. It ain't gonna be shit. Like, you might have a nice fancy car for a little while, but to be truly happy or to provide value for people, no. Ain't
and
happening.
sometimes it looks like that
Sunshine and rainbows.
that it happened so fast, but you don't see, like you said, you don't see
For 10 years. or
how
what-
many times they
plus.
failed.
Yeah. You could I mean, you could get rich in 2 years, but you might fail 1,000 fucking times.
Yeah,
You just keep going. You just failed faster than somebody else.
yeah.
I mean, it is possible. They're putting in the work, but they're putting in the work. It doesn't just $1 million isn't just gonna appear in your bank account overnight because you signed up for a fucking class.
Most people that win the lottery are broke within a few years.
They're in a worse situation than they were.
They get that money, and it's just gone. The get rich quick. It doesn't work. You gotta grind it. That's how you learn.
And it's gonna suck. We know it's
does
gonna suck. I mean, we've been
sucks
doing it for
right
a couple
now.
years right now. It sucks. This is our little spot to vent.
Yeah.
It does suck, but it's a long-term goal that we're after. We have it in our head where we want to be, and
Yeah.
maybe not exactly what we want to do to get there, but
I don't want to be the guy that's 40 years old. Now you're turning the back half of your life pretty much, statistically, you know.
yeah. That's
and looking back and being like, well, what if when I was 24,
yeah.
I'm already looking back, what if I would have done this in high school differently? And I graduated 6 years ago. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I look back, look at all the wasted time I did the past 3 days. Like, I could have been doing something.
That's how this started right here.
Yep.
That's how this is. That's why we hope this goes somewhere, but that's exactly why this started. We passed this off for the past year.
We'd be talking just like this and be like, we should just record this.
Yeah, why don't we just start recording what we have to say? Like, maybe we'll get feedback from other people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we'll learn new ideas. Like, maybe we'll really get a vision for what we want because we're laying it out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. And we're still like pissed. Like, we just spent hours trying to figure out how to hook this up.
Yeah.
We could have done it a year ago, been ahead of that curve by now. This could be our 50th episode. We could be providing tons of value to people, met tons of different people that provide value to us, mentor us, whatever. Like, but we waited a year. But now, maybe in another year, we'll see where it goes. Like, we'll see what this provides.
I don't care if in a year we get 5 total
No.
views. Then I can look back and be like, well, it's time to switch it up.
Yeah,
It's obviously not working.
Trying something new.
Yeah.
Like,
But I won't be looking back
with
saying,
regret.
why didn't I start
Yep,
this?
exactly.
You know?
I don't know. I think we'll probably end it there.
Yeah.
Sorry if this does have a lot of feedback. Hopefully we do fix it. I mean,
we will fix
the next
it.
one we will have this
We'll
fixed.
have it
I don't care
figured
how
out.
many videos or articles we got to read to
Yeah.
fix the damn thing, but it's going to get done. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully we can grab some viewers for the next one and maybe figure out how to get these things live and stream them. Fucking go kill your week, man.
You too.